The world's strongest man is around the corner, so of course, like every normal person, I'm spending this sunny Saturday inside trying to predict the groups. Now, there's no lighting on this video because I'm bringing out the whiteboard. That's right, and I'm going to try and predict the groups for you. I won't try to predict the overall standings after the groups because that's just too difficult. But without further ado, let's get stuck in to group number 1. So here's my whiteboard. I don't want to give anything away, but you probably can't read it because my handwriting is so bad. Group number 1 consists of Austin Andrade, Thomas Evans, Jaco Schoonwinkel, Tom Stoltman, and Eddie Williams. Now, the events that they are doing in the group stages are loading, I believe it's 4 sandbags into the back of a Tesla Cybertruck, deadlift for reps, I believe it's 350 kilos, Titans toss, overhead medley, and the stone medley. So I have gone through, I've looked at some of their previous results, and I've tried to order them. It's probably wrong, but here we are. I'm hoping you can see the entire whiteboard. Maybe I'll stand this way a little bit more. So, loading medley, I've got Tom Stoltman winning, Jaco Schoonwinkel, Eddie Williams, Thomas Evans, and then Austin Andrade. I don't think these heats events really suit Austin Andrade, which is unfortunate because he's a very good strongman and hopefully he proves me wrong. Deadlift for reps, I've got Austin Andrade winning, Tom Stoltman coming in second, Thomas Evans third, Eddie Williams fourth, and Jaco Schoonwinkel in fifth. Titans toss, the sandbag throwing medley, we've got Tom Stoltman winning, Jaco Schoonwinkel second, Eddie Williams, Thomas Evans, and Austin Andrade in last. For that one, I've kind of just gone for height. I know Tom Stoltman is good at throwing. I can imagine Jaco Schoonwinkel is. Eddie Williams is also very tall. Thomas Evans might jump up a little bit because he's a very powerful athlete, and so is Austin, but I do think that their height will let them down. So I know Thomas Evans is still tall, and so is Austin. Like, they're not short athletes, but they're more of that shorter guy build, if you know what I mean. Then the overhead, I've got Tom Stoltman winning again, Thomas Evans second, Austin Andrade in third, Eddie Williams and Jaco Schoonwinkel. I just think for Austin, the cardio element is going to come into play and he might not be able to do it. I think he'll complete it, but he might not be able to do it as fast as the likes of Tom Stoltman and Thomas Evans. That's my thought process behind that. And then the stone medley, I've got Tom Stoltman winning, Jaco Schoonwinkel in second, Eddie Williams third, Austin Andrade, and then Thomas Evans in last. That one, the stone medley is probably the hardest to predict because there's so many different moving parts to it, but Tom Stoltman and stones, and it's world's strongest man, so I feel as though he will come in shape as he always does for world's strongest man, and just surprise everybody again when everybody probably writes him off. So in the group, it's actually very tight apart from the top. We've got Tom Stoltman winning the group with 24 points, which is crazy because that means he wins all but one event, which he comes second in, but he's looking very good in training. It's world's strongest man. He's always good at world's strongest man. And yeah, they're good events for him, really. He's fast over the ground. His overhead is very good. Stones he's very good at. The throwing event could throw some people off, no pun intended, although I said it like there was a pun intended. But again, it's world's strongest man, and Tom at world's strongest man is incredible. But anyway, Jaco Schoonwinkel in second on 14 points, Eddie Williams third place 13, and then I've got Thomas Evans and Austin Andrade rounding out the group with 12 points each, meaning that Tom Stoltman would obviously progress and Jaco Schoonwinkel would progress in second. But it could all come out differently, of course. This is just a prediction. The deadlift could, like I've got Eddie Williams fourth in the deadlift, but his deadlift looked really good recently, and his overhead has never been that great, neither has Jaco's. But again, Eddie Williams has been progressing very well since he decided to take it more seriously, I guess you could say. So he could surprise us, and realistically, all he needs to do is gain, in my predictions anyway, he just needs to gain 1 or 2 more points and he's in the final, which I'd love to see because I think he did so well last year, and then he did well at the Giants Alive that he did as well, where he took third place. But this is how I've got it shaping out for group number 1. Okay, group number 2, and is it the same whiteboard or a different whiteboard, I hear you ask? It is the same one. I've sat down and gone through this. Group number 2, we have Wesley Dewinski of Canada, Paddy Haynes of the United Kingdom, Mitchell Hooper of Canada, Bryce Johnson of the USA, and Matt Ragg of New Zealand. Now, let's just get straight into it. I have Mitchell Hooper winning every single event. I don't see anybody beating him on any event, to be honest. Maybe the Titans toss if he makes a mistake, but he rarely does. So Mitch Hooper going through the group with 25 points. I found this one difficult to predict. I did. I don't know a lot about Bryce Johnson or Wesley Dewinski, to tell you the truth, but I did have a look on Strongman Archives at the results, and it doesn't seem like these are the best events for Bryce Johnson, to be completely honest. So I do have him in last with 5 points. But let's go through all of the events. We'll just go second to last in the event. So, loading, I have Paddy Haynes in second, Wes Dewinski third, Matt Ragg fourth, and Bryce Johnson in last. Now, I don't think Matt Ragg, he's strong, but I don't see him as being the fastest. I think this is where Paddy Haynes can certainly make up some points. Second event, the deadlift, I have Matt Ragg. I think just his strength overall will get him enough for second place, but I think Mitch can probably do, I think he's probably the best athlete at deadlift for reps in the entire world. Paddy Haynes in third, he's very good at it as well. Bryce Johnson in fourth, and Wes Dewinski in fifth. I looked at Bryce Johnson, I thought that his deadlift would be one of his better events, but it wasn't really. Like I say, they just don't seem to be great events for him. He could prove me wrong, I don't know. Like I say, I don't really know enough about him, but when looking on Strongman Archives, looking at these similar events to these, he doesn't tend to place that well, especially in like a higher level competition, which he hasn't done a lot of higher level competitions. So even in some of the lower, I say lower level, they're still very good athletes, all of them, but he still doesn't seem to place all that well. Titans toss, bit of a random one, but Mitch Hooper win. Wes Dewinski could take the win on that, to be completely honest, which would throw up a lot of stuff in my predictions. But Matt Ragg in third, he's just tall. He's got the strength and the power for it, so I think he could do it. Paddy Haynes and then Bryce Johnson in last. Overhead medley, I have Matt Ragg coming in second. Now, I actually have Paddy Haynes coming in third on this. They're not too heavy. I think he can definitely get the dumbbell, and it was the safe press at the Giants Live which really let him down. I think if he's nailed that technique of like a split jerk, I actually think he can get through quite a few of these. Bryce Johnson hasn't done very well on overhead medleys, but it's not light because it's at 8 reps that you have to do in total. But both of these, Wes Dewinski and Bryce Johnson, their overhead doesn't seem to be their best event. I know it's not Paddy's. I'm just thinking that maybe with the technique that he can implement, he might do maybe the same amount slightly faster. I could be wrong. It's very possible Paddy Haynes comes last in this event. But I've got faith in him. Stone medley, Mitch winning again. Wes Dewinski just seems like the sort of guy that would be good at this sort of event. Paddy Haynes, if he gets past that stone press, which I believe he can, I don't believe it's that heavy. Got him coming in third. Matt Ragg, fourth. Bryce Johnson. Apologies, Bryce. I know you're not watching, but apologies anyway. Which throws up another, was it a tie in the last one? I can't remember. I think there was a tie for third place. But I'd have Matt Ragg 15, Paddy Haynes 15, Wes Dewinski 14, Bryce Johnson on 5. So what I say about this, if Wes beats Mitch, the rest of my predictions are right. These would all end on 15 points. Now, I can't remember if they use countback or last event rule. I feel like they use last event rule now, which isn't as fair as countback in my honest opinion. But if they use the last event rule, and this is the way it turns out, we'll have Paddy Haynes going through to the final. If they use countback, we would have Matt Ragg going through to the final, as he has 2 second place results and Paddy Haynes only has 1, although Paddy Haynes, in my predictions, would have 3 third places as opposed to Matt Ragg's 1 third place. And if Wes Dewinski wins the Titans toss, and gets 15 points, then he would win on countback because he'd have an event win, which is better than any second place, and he would be the highest finisher on the stone medley. So my prediction is that it will be Mitch Hooper and Paddy Haynes going through based on the last event rule. But I really don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments, and let's get on to group number 3. You know, the more that I go through this, the more I realise I have no idea what I'm talking about. But here we are with group number 3, which contains Shane Flowers, Lucas Hatton, Mateusz Kieliszkowski, Evans Nana, and Reino. Now, I found group number 2 very difficult to predict, but at least I could pick a winner. This one I've managed to pick a winner, but I have no idea. The comments are probably going to tell me how wrong I am. Please don't. Again, it's kind of difficult. I don't know an awful lot about Reino now. I know he's done very well in the Strongman's Champions League, and in the 2024 Siberian Power Show he did really well. But this is a step up in competition. But he has dominated those competitions, and I think he could do really well. I think he could, but I just don't know. But let's go through it anyway. Loading race. I've gone for Mateusz Kieliszkowski to win, Evans Nana to come in second, Shane Flowers third, Lucas Hatton, and then Reino. Now, it's just, honestly, it's so difficult. It's really difficult. Lucas Hatton gets sort of touted as this guy that isn't very fast, but that's just because, you know, he's slightly of that barrel belly build, so to speak. But he's actually a very, very good athlete, and he is pretty quick over the ground. He could easily be up here. It could be going anywhere, but that's the order I've got. I looked at Reino Nels, and the one maybe chink in the armour when it's difficult because I looked at one result from, I think it was SCL Africa. He came fourth in the loading, but it was all so close. So he could easily be up here. He could be down there. The one thing that I was pretty sure about was Mateusz coming in first. He might be getting a bit older, but he's still very quick over the ground. Deadlift, I've actually got Reino now winning it. I think he's done a few deadlifts. I think he's always won the deadlift. I could be wrong, maybe like once or twice that he hasn't. But we then have Lucas Hatton in second. I think his deadlift is slept on. He doesn't have a bad deadlift at all. He's got a pretty good gas tank. I think at this weight, I think it's 350. He could be looking to get a few reps. We then got Shane Flowers, Evans Nana, and Mateusz Kieliszkowski in last place. Now, I actually think Mateusz, his deadlift at Giants Live looked a lot better than it has in recent years. So maybe he could pick another point up here on someone like Evans Nana, but I think he's going to struggle. Titans Toss, this is the one that I was most confident about who's going to win the event, which is Shane Flowers. Second place, Mateusz Kieliszkowski. Reino now in third, Lucas Hatton, and then Evans Nana. Overhead, I actually have Lucas Hatton winning. Now, I'm sure a lot of people are probably going to say Mateusz will win that one, but I think Lucas is fast enough, strong enough to win that event. Mateusz second, Reino now third. His overhead seems to be pretty good. Shane Flowers in fourth, and then Evans Nana in last place again. Stone medley, had to go for Mateusz to win this one. Lucas Hatton second. Reino now, I feel like I've just put Reino now third place because I'm just not sure, but I know he's good, if you know what I mean. But Shane Flowers, Evans Nana, which leaves the group being Mateusz Kieliszkowski winning with 19. Lucas Hatton in second place with 17 points. Now, these aren't the best events for Lucas Hatton, but I think against this group of athletes, he can pick up enough points on the events. Reino now, Shane Flowers, both ending on 15, and then Evans Nana on 9 points. For me, this is the group that I could just get completely wrong. Like, I genuinely think any of these can. I'm pretty confident Mateusz will get through with this set of events, but I really wouldn't be surprised to see Shane or Reino get through as well. I think Evans is very good, but I feel like with this group, it's one of those where none of them have their best events in the group, but all of these have events that are better than Evans has, if you know what I mean, if that makes any sense. But either way, Mateus to win, Lucas Hatton second place, making it through to his first ever World's Strongest Man final, where he has much better events. Time for group number 4. Okay, here we go. 2 groups left to go through. Group number 4 contains Maxime Boudreau, Andre Fouitou, Tristan Hoth, Trey Mitchell, and Luke Richardson. Now, I don't want to keep saying how difficult it is to predict these groups, but it's very difficult to predict these groups. I've probably seen overall more of all of these athletes than any other group, if that makes sense. I've seen a lot of Maxime, Andre recently as well at Europe's, Trey Mitchell, he's always in the big comps, Luke Richardson, a lot. Tristan Ho's maybe the one that I haven't seen so much, but I know a little bit, and I've managed to get, again, look at some of the results that he's had in the past. Let's kick into the group loading race. I've got Luke Richardson with the win, Tristan Hoth in second, Trey Mitchell in third place, Andre Fouitou, and then Maxime Boudreau. Now, people might think that putting Trey Mitchell in third on a loading race is stupid, but I think you're stupid for thinking that's stupid, because it's not stupid. Trey Mitchell isn't slow necessarily. He's very big, but he can still move for a big guy. And depending on the distance, I don't think it's that long of a run. The distance and how heavy they are, I actually think he can do pretty well on this event. He's not going to have trouble getting him off the floor. It's going to be his cardio, but if it's shorter, which I believe it is, then he can actually do quite well. Deadlift, Trey Mitchell to win, Luke Richardson second, Andre Fouitou in third, Tristan Hoth, and then Maxime Boudreau. I think Maxime in last is probably the easiest one on this. His deadlift just isn't where it needs to be. Andre Fouitou actually impressed me quite a lot at Europe's Strongest Man with his deadlift. I think he might have equaled Luke or maybe even beat him. I'd have to double check. I'm not going to double check. Someone else can double check. Titans toss, Maxime Boudreau, I've got winning, followed by Tristan Hoth. Canadians are just good throwers. Wes Dawinski's very good at it as well. Maxime, if he gets it right, will win that event, I believe. Then Luke Richardson, Trey Mitchell, and Andre Fouitou. I've not seen enough of Andre Fouitou or any of them, to be completely honest, throwing, apart from really Maxime, to know if they're any good. And I know Maxime's good, so giving in the win there. Overhead medley, I've got Trey Mitchell winning again. I know it's a lot of reps and stuff like that, but he can do reps. Like, he's not just some 1 rep max guy that can't move, and he's very strong overhead. Andre Fouitou, Luke Richardson, I believe that's the way that they finish in Europe's Strongest Man. Andre is very, very strong overhead. So is Luke, to be fair. Then Maxime, then Tristan Hoth. I think Maxime Boudreau's overhead does get overlooked a little bit. He's actually very strong overhead. Tristan Hoth, his results don't say that he's the best. Stone medley, Trey Mitchell, Tristan Hoth, Luke Richardson, Maxime Boudreau, Andre Fouitou. Trey's stones are always very good. Tristan Hoth has had decent results on stones in the past as well. Luke Richardson will be there or thereabouts. And then these two. Maxime is actually a very good stone lifter, so he could prove me wrong here. It could be something that he's very good at. He might jump up a few places, but I don't think it'd make a massive difference to my overall. So I actually have Trey winning the group, which I don't think a lot of people had. I think a lot of people had Trey not getting through the groups. I could be wrong. Let me know what you think. But I actually have him winning the group. I think he can do very well on a lot of things. I've got somebody coming to the door. Ready? They're going to knock. Nope, they're just going to post it. Anyway, I think a lot of people had Trey Mitchell going out. I have him winning the group with Luke Richardson in second on 18 points. Tristan Hoth, third, 15, and then Andre and Maxime on 11 points. It felt... Putting Andre in last place after some of the performances that he's had recently at like Europe's Strongest Man, and I think he did very well last year at World's Strongest Man, doesn't quite feel right. And if they had the same format this year, then Andre Fouitou would have been in the final last year instead of Austin Andrade. But I don't think the events aren't bad for him because they're similar to Europe's, really, and he did very well there. But I just think the other guys in the group are better overall, and I don't know what his throw-in's like. Stones aren't the best, so the Stone Medley I don't think is going to be the greatest event for him. And yeah, unfortunately, I don't think he's going to make it through the group. I think it'll be Trey Mitchell and Luke Richardson. Let's do the final group, group number 5. Group number 5, or as I like to call it, Group Evan. Because I believe that if he doesn't win this group, even on a bad day, then it's a very bad day, to be completely honest. We have Luke Stoltman, Evan the T-Rex Singleton, Nick Guardione, Andrew Flynn, and Pavlo Cordiaca. Loading race, we've gone Evan Singleton winning, Luke Stoltman, Pavlo Cordiaca, Andrew Flynn, Nick Guardione. I just think it's Andrew Flynn's first World's Strongest Man, as is Nick Guardione's. Luke Stoltman has the experience at this competition, and he's not slow by any stretch of the imagination. I think he can put in I think it's going to be very close, to tell you the truth. I think like Nick Guardione could win it, but that's the order I've gone with. Deadlift for reps, Evan Singleton, it's his to win all day. Luke Stoltman, I think out of everybody here, he's probably the next best deadlifter. Then Nick Guardione isn't actually that much of a bad deadlifter. I think people might think he's a bad deadlifter because of the Arnold Classic, but he was just up against elite deadlifters. Then Andrew Flynn, then Pavlo Cordiaca. Now, these three, I think, could switch around, maybe even Luke, but I think those three, it could be Pavlo, Nick, Andrew, Andrew, Pavlo, Nick. Like, could be anything, but that's the order that I've gone for. Titans toss, I've just gone for Evan Singleton winning again. I think he's got so much explosive power, and if he doesn't make a mistake, I think it's his to lose, really. Nick Guardione, I think it's an event that he'd probably be quite good at. Pavlo, similar sort of idea. Luke Stoltman, and then Andrew Flynn. Again, it's a difficult group to predict. I think it's weird. I think picking the top 2 to go through to the final is pretty easy in this group, if I'm being completely honest, without meaning any disrespect to the other athletes. Of course, not that they're watching, but they're not bad athletes. None of the 25 people there are bad athletes. I just think that this group is easier to predict than the other ones are. But either way, yeah, Titans toss, Evan Singleton, Nick Guardione, Pavlo Cordiaca, Luke Stoltman, Andrew Flynn. Overhead, I've got Luke winning, followed by Evan Singleton, who I actually think could win this event as well. Pavlo Cordiaca, I think he could do better than these if he nails it. Nick Guardione, Andrew Flynn, Stone Medley, Luke Stoltman. Stones and Stoltman, they just go hand in hand. Evan Singleton, second place. Pavlo, Nick, Andrew Flynn. So it's really, apart from one event, the Titans toss, which is probably the hardest one to predict, is an Evan and Luke Stoltman show. So I have Evan Singleton winning the group on 23 points, Luke Stoltman on 20 points, Pavlo 13, Nick on 12, and Andrew Flynn on 5. The thing that I think about this group that maybe hurts Evan's chances in the overall competition is that, now I know he will probably prefer to go all out on every single event anyway, but he is in a group where I don't think it's as strong as some of the other groups, if I'm being completely honest. Maybe I could be wrong. I think the loading race, he's going to have to go all-out attack because I think he's in a group of fast people. But, for example, on the overhead, I don't think he's in the strongest overhead group overall. Same on the deadlifts. He's easily the best deadlifter in that group. So I'm hoping he focuses on what other groups are doing and doesn't just focus on his group. Because if he does that, I think he could lose a lot of points in the overall, because obviously the points carry not all the points, but how you stack up in the group stages in comparison to everybody else that makes it through to the final, you start on that amount of points. So if you basically are the best throughout the groups, you'll start on 10 points, and if you're the worst, you'll start on 1 point. I don't think Evan will hold back all that much, but maybe there's like subconsciously he's thinking, they've only done 4 reps on the deadlift, I'll just go and do 5, or when he gets to that fifth, he might think, oh, I'm knackered, I'll stop and save myself for the final. But I don't think that's a wise move for him to do. I think he needs to try and focus on what the likes of Trey Mitchell, Tom Stoltman, Mitch Hooper are all doing in their groups, and almost imagine that he's in a group with them and not with the other people. And again, that's no disrespect to these athletes, because they're all very good athletes. I just think that you've got Evan here, if you can see that, Evan here, Luke Stoltman here, and then the other three slightly below. So Evan is this much above the rest of them. I just think he is. But that's who I think is going to make it through to the final in Group 5. And let's go through everybody that I think is going to make it to the final. I'm not going to attempt to predict the final because I could have 5, 6 people wrong that are going through. I don't think I do. I think I've got it exactly on the nose. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let's go through all 10 athletes that I think will make it to the World's Strongest Man Final 2025. So the 10 athletes I have making it to the final of World's Strongest Man are as follows. I'll put them on the screen for you, but I'm going to read them off my trusty whiteboard. Tom Stoltman, Jaco Schoonwinkel from Group 1, Mitchell Hooper and Paddy Haynes from Group 2, Mateusz Kieliszkowski and Lucas Hatton from Group 3, Trey Mitchell and Luke Richardson from Group 4, and Luke Stoltman and Evan Singleton from Group 5. Let me know in the comments if you agree with those 10. Now, do I believe they are the 10 best in the world? Not 100%. I don't 100% believe these are the best 10 strongmen in the world. I think it's very event dependent, and the group events are so much different to the final events this year that it kind of skews the final in a way. I don't think the likes of Paddy Haynes will do all that well in the final, but I think he can do very well in the heat. And then Lucas Hatton could struggle in the heat, but is a potential podium spot or winner of the final. I think the likes of Tom Stoltman, Mitchell Hooper, Mateusz, Trey Mitchell, probably Luke Richardson and Evan Singleton are almost guaranteed top 10 in the world at any time. But I do think the likes of Andre Foytu, Austin Andrade, all of these, Wes Dawinski as well, I think he's very good. All of them are very good, but I think to say 100% probably going to be top 10, obviously a lot of competitions are just 10 people, but pretty much who you would class as ranking in the top 10, I think Tom Stoltman, Mitch Hooper, Mateusz, Lucas Hatton as well. Don't think I said him the first time. Trey Mitchell, Luke Richardson and Evan Singleton out of this final are probably the only ones that you can say they are top 10 in the world. But I don't know who the top 10 in the world are. Maybe you do. You know what? Leave me your top 10 strongmen in the world. Do it in order, do it out of order. I don't care. Just drop a comment down below and let me know. Make sure you leave a like on the video. Thank you all for watching. Subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you at World's Strongest Man one day.